So we're here outside Parliament. We've just finished PMQs. I know you've been vocal there, and I'm with Rupert Lowe from Reform. Hello, Rupert.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Well, very concerned actually, because we've got this big vote happening on Friday. Many at Together think that we haven't had time to thrash out the issues and discuss it with the public. We know we've seen some polls, but often we get answers to questions that are asked in polls. What are your thoughts about just being able to discuss this with the public and having enough time?
Well, there is an issue of the amount of time we've got to debate the whole matter in Parliament. So I think we're limited to four hours, which only gives a very limited amount of time, given that up to 100 MPs have asked to speak. So I don't think there's enough time to debate it properly in the House. I personally have opened the issue, because it's a free vote, I've opened it to my constituents to decide how I should vote. Ultimately, I am, if you like, their elected member of Parliament, and given that it's a free vote, I should be reflecting, I think, what they think. So I'm waiting for the results of that poll.
When will you get them?
I think we're due to close that tonight, and we should have the results ready for the vote tomorrow. We've had quite a lot of people voting, I know that, so to be honest, I've been so busy, it's one's life is not one's own in Parliament. The one thing the government has is power over the agenda, and they make it very difficult to follow, even for somebody of adequate intelligence, which I consider myself to be.
Well, I think it's really excellent that you put it out to the public. I think that we need much more time. That's why we're saying take back democracy. The idea that the public actually gets engaged in these discussions, and we have a bit of a cost-benefit discussion. Some of the implications we've seen the last few years, lots of concerning things. Who would have thought, if we go back 5 years ago, if I'd have said to you all these things might happen, you say, don't be so ridiculous, we'll never do that in Britain. And we saw lockdowns and many other things happen, and concerns around the end of life. So this is happening Friday, so you're going to get... also, we should say, by the way, brilliant, because Rupert Lowe also donates his salary to charities in his constituency around there, don't you?
That's indeed, I do. Every month somebody is lucky enough to get my stipend of my salary, and with gift aid it's it's a reasonable sum each month, so it's fantastic. We've been able to help the farmers charities 1 month, the pensioners charities another month. It seems that the Labour government is leaving a trail of people who need as much help as possible, and maybe it's the small businesses next with the NI increase and all the other nonsense that they're peddling. They're not actually dealing with the main problem, which is a waste of taxpayers' money on all sorts of unnecessary expenditure. Now, I think most people are happy to pay tax, but it's up to the state to basically then spend their money effectively, and I don't think that's happening. So, and the issue of my question in Parliament today, I'm using a lot of written questions to try and find out exactly how some of our money is being spent, so whether that's on foreign criminals in our prisons, or whether it's on foreign claimants of our sort of state aid, or any other form of benefit which is being spent arguably unnecessarily. We've got to expose that. So I think effective government, as I said in Parliament today, is transparent government, and it seems that there's an unwillingness to share the raw data with the electorate, who ultimately in a democracy should be driving the agenda. And I think if they get the data, they'll be able to make up their own minds, but hiding the data, I think, is what's been happening.
Are we going to get to see the data?
The Prime Minister has said he will show us the data I asked for today, which was basically the number of foreign nationals on universal credit. We were told by the Department of Work and Pensions, a minister from the Department of Work and Pensions, that they would effectively work out the suitable data to give us. I've asked for the transparent data. I think in a democracy the people should be given the facts, and they can then make up their own minds.
Well, listen, we'll be very interested to see how that vote goes if you let us know later, Rupert. Again, we think that it's really important we get to thrash this out, take back democracy. Thank you, Rupert. What's your sense in how this is going to go on Friday, just finally?
I think it's probably going to be the closest vote of this Parliament, so I think it's going to be very close. I wouldn't like to call how it will go. Maybe the amendment will crab it on the basis that we haven't had enough debate. But I think if it does go to a vote without any form of, if you like, filibustering, then I think it'll be so close it's very difficult to call.
I think this is why it's really important you use the next day and a half to have your voices heard. Make sure you speak to your MP, let them know what you think about this. We're saying we need more time to thrash out these issues, to see what they mean, the implications and the consequences. We've all lived through the past few years and seen what that's meant for all of us. So make your voices heard together. We're better and stronger together. Thank you very much, Rupert.
Pleasure, Alan. Pleasure.